growth with Soul Pepper. We're a marketing agency, and oh man, I just loved all these introductions, like so good. And because there's like marketing your business, whether you're Nike or whether you're a solo person, it's all about evoking emotions. People make decisions emotionally first, and then they back up that decision with data. So, love coach, 6 months instead of a year or longer. It's like, oh, that's impressive. Book Whisperer, I thought that was really good. Where's the Trash Talker? Oh my god, that was amazing. And this presentation just given, right? Starting out with the story. Why do we start out with stories? Because they're so impactful. You're from Saskatchewan. I spent 7 years in Saskatchewan, and one of the best one of the best provinces I think in Canada. And whenever I think my job at Soul Pepper is difficult, I think about the client I had in Saskatchewan, which was Tourism Saskatchewan. Now, if you want a challenge, work for Tourism Saskatchewan and try to convince Albertans to come to Saskatchewan as opposed to BC. Uphill battle. So,
that was good. That was good.
And
It's not that funny.
it's yeah, there's lots of beautiful parts of Saskatchewan. So I'm going to talk today about, when I think about your business, I always try to think about what, if I was in your shoes, what would be the most useful thing for me to actually grow my business. And so Soul Pepper, as a marketing agency, is all about doing the one thing that every business wants, whether you're Deloitte, Nike, or Joe's Pizza Shop on the corner. What do you think that one thing is that everybody wants?
Revenue.
More money in the bank account. So, and the funny thing is if you're Nike or you're Joe's Pizza Shop, it's all the same thing. How do you connect with people? How do you make them feel a certain way? How do you get them to take action? So, we're gonna talk about that today. I'm gonna give you a ton of information. Hopefully you leave here with actionable things to do. There's so much we could talk about today. AI and tech marketing, and what about old school marketing, and like does a handwritten letter work and all that stuff. So I'm going to cover what I think is the most useful things. But what do you guys want to talk about? Why'd you show up here today, besides for the amazing donuts and coffee?
I like the title.
Okay.
Really, it appealed.
Okay. Anybody else want to talk about anything in particular, or are you just going to let me go unleashed? Yeah, unleashed? All right, let's roll. Question, who loves marketing and who loves spending money on marketing? Put your hands up if you love spending money on marketing.
But don't want to spend too much on marketing.
Yeah, so barely anybody raised their hands for the love marketing, and barely anybody raised their hands on I want to spend money on marketing. And that's typically because, in my experience, there's lack of visibility into marketing. So I do things and I just have no idea how it impacts my revenue. I have no idea if I got any clients for it, or I hired an agency and their role, they say they did their job, but I'm putting money out and not seeing money coming in. So what do I do? And so there's a lot of like gray area and a lot of clunkiness around marketing. And so I like, when I think about small businesses and large businesses, I think about how do we create as much visibility as possible. Because also, there's a whole bunch, in today's world where there's so much data out there, there's so much we can't even track unless we got a chip in the head. Like, you have no idea if you're somebody who's walking by and is hearing somebody else talk about a great experience at Foot Solutions, and you're like, yeah, my foot actually does kind of hurt, should I get insoles? And then all of a sudden I go to Google, then I read the reviews, and then Google gets the thing, but it's, no, you're walking down the street and you heard somebody talk about the great service here. So we can measure some, but not everything, and that's okay. Okay. A little bit about me, head of growth at Soul Pepper, and so we have been for the past several years focused on law firm marketing, but we've been around for about 15 years and have worked with a whole bunch of big businesses, small businesses. We're in Vancouver, one of the only agencies in Vancouver that has been around for as long as we have. Lots of agencies have been around, but they've changed names and they've bought and they've merged and things like that. We work with over 100 businesses right now in North America. We have essentially double the conversion rates of industry average. All that means is that more people do more business positive things because of our ad campaigns than the industry average. We like to look at AI, marketing, and tech, and we're really about solving business problems. So, marketing agencies often will propose, hey, if you need more traffic to your website, I can help you. I can help your phone ring more. In our case, it's like, well, it's actually not the phone that needs to ring more, it's the cash register that needs to ring more. And so we really focus on that end result of how do we generate more revenue and work with a bunch of brands. Go Riders Go, that's one thing I'm holding on to from Saskatchewan. Okay, a couple of testimonials, yada yada, we'll burn through these. The only thing I just want to say actually about these testimonials is, so Greg Alterman from Alternative Apparel, we doubled our money on the money we spent with Soul Pepper, so that's great. And then Spinks Law out of the Okanagan there, they generated 1,400%, so every dollar they put in, they got $1,400 back with us. And so we've got an apparel company, and then we've got a law firm, and then we've got a whole bunch of other companies we worked with. What I'm about to show you here is this is how this happens. What I'll go through today is so it's not complex. We don't need to have a PhD in chemical engineering to understand how to move the needle because of marketing. So we'll go through that there. Okay. So how much time do I have, by the way? What time are we ending?
You have about another 20 minutes.
All right, we are going to hustle. All right, so happy to share the slides after as well. So I just want to talk about how people buy here. So when somebody has a problem, when somebody has an issue, that triggers a need for something. So what we want to do is understand how people buy our products so we can actually start focusing our marketing on the most effective pieces here. So what happens first is that we have this trigger. So something happens, somebody has a need. So they moved into the community and they need a dentist, or they got their taxes back from their accountant late and they didn't like how that worked. Or they're looking for community, so they want to check out, find a coffee shop, or they're looking to buy a company, so I need a corporate lawyer, blah, blah, blah. There's something that happens in somebody's life which is called a trigger. And then the first thing that happens is they have an initial consideration set of where can I go for this stuff? So I need insoles, where do I go? I go online, I take insoles near me, and then maybe some local shops pull up, and then Walmart pulls up, and some other places, London Drugs pulls up. So there's all these different ways that people will search for you, and they're going to look at 3 to 4 different channels. And so they might Google, they might ask ChatGPT, they're going to ask a friend, maybe they drive past here, so there's brand recognition, there's interrupted marketing, and then there's your reputation. It's like, okay, so I need something, I got to build a list, even mentally, of what I need. And then the next thing that happens is that people move into active evaluation. So who shows up on Google, who shows up in ChatGPT, if I'm looking for an accountant, what do the reviews look like, what kind of accounting do they do? Oh yeah, I love the numerology, like nice fit into accounting. Like, and also I think that's gonna turn some people off, which is perfect because it's like, it's a qualifying thing, right? It's like, because not everybody's your client. They're gonna evaluate your website, maybe they'll watch webinars, and so the whole thing here is how do people feel when they interact with your brand. So I've got 600 5-star reviews, it's like, okay, that's probably pretty good. Or I've got 50 2-star reviews, it's like, that's also very telling, right? So people make decisions based on how they feel first, and then they back it up with data. And so we've got all these areas to help people with active evaluation, then they become the customer. So this is the first piece of like, how do we get customers here, right? How do we get on their initial consideration set? How do we help them actively evaluate us? And then once they become a customer, this is called the loyalty loop. What is the post-purchase experience? And then how do we keep them in the loyalty loop? These are 2 different things, but things like how quickly do we respond to them? How quickly do we get set up? How fast do they get their insoles? We're just gonna pick on foot solutions today. And then how often do we communicate them? And basically how do we just keep them coming back as customers? So this, when we kind of break it down into like these 3 areas, then we start focusing on like where should we invest our marketing efforts? Whether we're spending money on ads or whether we're going to networking events, like how do we evaluate this? And ultimately, everything comes back down to your website. And even though in today's world, Google reviews are huge, people are going to ChatGPT, and there's all these other ways, social media is a place where people are searching. Your website is still your home. This is where the party happens. This is like, okay, let's check out who these people are, how much do things cost, and things like that. So we have to make sure our house is in proper order. So let's talk about how we get more clients. So we start to understand, okay, we think we understand how this buyer journey works. We understand maybe kind of like how we show up in people's initial consideration set, how we want them to evaluate us. Now how do we work on getting more clients? First part of getting more clients, sorry for the flippy floppy there, is figuring out who you are. And this is why these stories are really important at the beginning, because I can tell who some of you are. But it's like, if I stood up and said, I'm a lawyer and I do corporate taxes, it's like, okay, so do 1,000 other lawyers around here. Like, what part of that story is compelling? Like, just because you do something does not mean that people are going to come to you. It's kind of like the build it and we will come. That is not the case in marketing. So, like, who are you and why do people even care to do business with you? That's like probably one of the most critical factors that will help you looky-loos, looking at your business, turn into actual customers for you. So people have all these issues in finding a business, right? They don't know who to trust, they don't know who's credible. Accessibility, you would be unbelievably surprised how difficult it is to find phone numbers, find directions, find what do you actually do. You wouldn't actually be surprised because you're a customer, so you know how difficult this can be with some sites. How does somebody assess qualifications? What are the information gaps? And also there's just too many choices out there sometimes. Who do I know? Searching for insoles in Kitsilano, it's actually, there aren't too many choices. Like there's Walmart or London Drugs or come to Foot Solutions. It's like, well, that's a pretty easy solution for me personally, but in many cases it's like, how does the consumer look? So we have to start understanding what is our story and what makes us special. And there's tons of reasons, there's tons of things that make you special. And so often what I hear from brands is like, well, we do like wealth investment and wealth management. It's like, and so do like 1,000 other people. So what makes us that special? It's like, it's hard to differentiate. And it's like, well, you're different. So that's item number one. And so we really have to start thinking about like what are the things that people really value, right? Fast response times. We have a client who runs a business and she's the only person in her area that speaks Portuguese. That does her business, and so that's her thing. Highest rating, maybe specialization, maybe experience, maybe you represent the underdog. And so, you know, we really have to start thinking about what makes us different, and then that's our story, not just on our website and not just on our business card, but when we share and talk with everybody. So how do we figure out our story? I'm going to give you a bit of a formula for that. So two things. One is how to figure out your special sauce. There's a few things that I found really effective for small businesses and large businesses when it comes to figuring out their special sauce. So one is ask your customers, what do you like about doing business with me? Two is what are your values? The thing about values is you can't really adopt values. Like values are revealed, and so whatever you have, and if you're in most cases, like small to mid-sized businesses where the company is being run by the owner, generally the business is a reflection of their values. What do you do that nobody else does? And the Ritz-Carlton is like nails down trying to meet people's unasked needs. And so what kind of needs do you meet that people don't really ask for, but they really value about you? And then use this formula right here. For a blah customer who needs X, our service is blah blah blah. That benefits. All right, let's show you what that actually looks like. Okay, so if you're a coffee shop, for coffee lovers, and let's say you're in Kitsilano, which is going to be highly localized. For coffee lovers in Kitsilano who value authenticity and taste, our cafe is a specialty coffee house that sources beans directly from small farms, crafts every drink with care, and offers consistently elevated experience you can't get from a chain. So this looks like fine, cool, like nice, sounds like a good coffee shop, but like here's the thing, like it's for coffee lovers. So like if you are a coffee snob and really like value coffee, like this is a shop that starts to speak to that, and we value authenticity and taste, and specialty coffee house, and we source our beans from blah blah blah. Consistently elevated experience. So this is talking actually to a very specific type of audience. I grew up drinking swill, so I've never appreciated good coffee. So this wouldn't kind of resonate for me. So I'm not spending, I drink instant coffee all the time, so I'm not spending a lot on coffee. But this is how you start connecting and resonating with people. Fitness, again, kind of localized to communities. For residents who want more motivating, who want more motivation than working out alone, our fitness studio is a community space that combines group classes, supportive coaching, and welcoming atmosphere, so members feel connected and inspired to show up. So this is all about community, and this is all about motivation. It's all about like combating the loneliness that comes to people who are trying to get better. I know, I lost 60 pounds last year, and so community is really important. Thank you. Yeah, I know how to like pat my own back from using the audience. So it's like, so this may seem like on the surface very like generic, but it's actually quite specific to people who are looking for community, who need motivation, who are feeling alone. And then for a lawyer, for high net worth couples who need to divide complex assets, our family law practice is a sophisticated legal solution category that ensures equitable distribution while protecting wealth and business interests. So high net worth, this isn't everybody. Complex assets, so you got multiple businesses, sophisticated legal solutions, like all of this speaks to people. And so this also has like, with the exception of this one, like a generic feel to it. You can feel that lots of people would resonate with this. However, so when we're trying to cut the noise, and there's so much noise out there right now, these are the little building blocks that will build your brand. And the thing is, when you start defining who you are more precisely, then this is how you talk to everybody else. And that's why I think it's clear some of you have worked on your elevator pitch and your stories. And because I heard it today, and I was like, I want to do business with all of you. Because it was cool. Oh, and I liked at the end too, I wanted to mention the you're not gonna like working out with me. That is a great, like from a marketing perspective, if you like anchor negativity and then follow with like huge positivity, then that's how you can like anchor like you're gonna hate this. It's like, oh damn, but benefit, and it's like it's a really great way to engage with people. We always say, and it's true sometimes, is our price, how much is it? It's expensive. But most people spend less on marketing when they were with us. We have trackable data. We are going to actually help you get to your revenue goals this year. But most people hide from price, but we just come out and say we're expensive. We are sometimes. Okay, so the point here is that you don't want to make people to work to figure out your value proposition because they're not. They're going to go to the next person. They're going to go to the next search result. They're going to not do the effort. Okay, so we talked about your website. Let's just burn through a few things here around the 5 keys to a successful website. So everybody wants to know in some form or fashion your price, reviews, are you a gold standard, what problems am I going to have if I work with you, and comparing you to competitors. So I'm going to take you through a couple of examples. And again, the reason why this is important is because all of our clients who generate significant revenue, other than word of mouth and referrals, which Foot Solutions here gets tons of that, when people want to scale, the next thing they say is how do we do something in addition to word of mouth and solutions. So this is Catherine. She is a wills and estate lawyer in Calgary, and so there's a few things that happen here. One, who she is, and you can't really see it here, but bullet points of like why you should care about us, and very like personable bullet points. All of these trust factors. Well, I've got this award for this lawyer, and I've got this award, plus I'm part of the bar, and plus I'm all these pieces. So right away, through colors and through words, she's building trust and really reducing the friction on, is this person a good fit for me? The problem with lawyers, so many problems with lawyers, is that, and they're also amazing. All right, so is that people don't know where their money's going, and so she has this statement here that says, look, we are going to be transparent with our billing, so we both know what's happening with your money. And then her social media is all about, not I'm a lawyer, but it's all about helping people achieve their goals. So lots and lots of value. And so you don't need to, bring in Da Vinci to carve you $1 million website. You just need to communicate in a way that people understand and resonate. Look at H&R Block. This is just a breakdown of some parts of their website. So right now they're recruiting for tax experts for the upcoming tax season in a while. And so very simple, earn extra income as a tax expert. Not overly like clever or anything, it's like very straight and clear, and then call to action right here, register today. And then everything is all about how easy it is to do business with us. File taxes your way, the way you want. Why you should choose us. Look at our customer testimonials. Like this, you can build this site in Wix, and for like $10 a month or however much Wix is, $200 a year or whatever, right? Like you don't have to spend $1 million on your website. You just have to have pull levers to help people understand why to do business with you, as opposed to this site here, which is, I think this is in Calgary. There's nothing about this that builds trust, right? This is like, first of all, you got no customers. That's what that looks like to me.
That's true.
And then there's a trusted partner in accounting and tax. Well, that should, to me, that's table stakes. Yeah, 10 minutes, is that what I mean? 20 minutes? All right. That's.
We can have questions and answers.
Sure, yeah. Okay. Customers want to be led. They don't make people work to do business with you. Give them the next steps. Give them here's what you should do next. There's nothing kind of in this initial stage that shows me what I should do next. I really have to work. I gotta go up and find this contact and then click that, and hopefully there's a phone number on the next page or a contact form, which doesn't seem like a lot of work, but it is for users. All right. Same. This is a typical lawyer site. This guy's a criminal defense lawyer. I'm sure he's phenomenal, and also, like, I'm sure these guys are great too. This is not a judgment on their business. But this is a typical lawyer, criminal defense lawyer site. Guy looking tough in a nice suit, and then name and what he does. It's like, all right. I don't know how to evaluate this like quickly, unless this resonates with you, and it might. So it's very risky. So it's really important to make sure you understand what people value about you. And intuitively, we all know this, but just very rarely do I see it written down and I see it communicated on the site. So it's like I can talk to you and you can tell me, and through conversation, I'm like, oh, I get why you are so valuable and why your business is great and why you're passionate about it. But I really like the presentation, right? Because you had like just lots of soundbitey things and lots of like, how does this work? Like the 3 steps, like buy it, put water in it, eat it. It's like, oh, all right, cool. And then it's not kibble. And you had another really funny phrase there. Oh yeah, dogs can't cheat. That was good. And I was like, oh, that's actually clever. Like if you put that on a Facebook ad, like that, people will click that stuff for sure. Because what do you mean dogs can't cheat? It's like, I get it, but why? Yeah. Anyway, it's cool. Okay, so getting leads. So here is generally in the market right now how I would look at your potential customer base. 3% of the market is looking for what you're offering right now. 6 to 7% are open to your service. 30% aren't thinking about you. 30% don't think they're interested, and 30% know they're not interested. So if I'm in a business right now, the first thing I'm going to do is focus strictly on this 3%. And if you focus on that 3%, here's what happens. Some people think, okay, but what about everybody else that could be my client? This is the market that is like cash in hand ready. I'm looking for insoles right now. And so, or I'm looking to date somebody right now. And it's like, so once we own this, the reason why this is really important is because this is what's going to put money in your bank account. And then after money comes into your bank account because of your marketing, then we can start looking at other things that don't have quite the tight relationship to your bank account but are still impactful. So generally this is like ads, search engine optimization, or now it's search everywhere optimization, email marketing. Those are like kind of like 3 activities from a digital marketing perspective. 6 to 7 who are open to your service, and so potentially maybe I'm gonna switch my wealth advisor, or maybe I seem to have a lot of cash right now and maybe I should get a wealth advisor, but maybe not. So this is where education, like webinars, case studies, blogs, brand awareness, going out to events like this are really useful. And then I wouldn't focus on these areas just yet as a business. So I'm gonna pick on family lawyers. Thought there might be one lawyer in here, but clearly not, so we can talk trash about them a little bit. And so here's the first place I start. I always look in Google. So what we're looking at here in Google is a 2-year search for family law, and in BC. So for lawyers, people seeking divorces and things like that. So in January, you can see percentage-wise, the search volume went up 47%, and in January 2025, 65%. I always wonder if it is, and I've never been able to get an answer, is it that people go through the holidays and then realize, I don't want to be with this person, or do they just make it through the holidays and then divorce? I'm not sure, but something about the new year talks about new partners. So the reason we start here is because with AI, like there's all this confusion on where do people, like where should I show up right now, and it's really overwhelming. Still, a majority of the people go to Google, and so this is where we start. And although the way you can find businesses is changing in Google, this is still where we go. So there's lots of free tools out there. This one's called, well, it's the Google Ads tool. It's free. You can kind of look up your business and see this information yourself, but it's like, okay, there is like a significant amount of people for family law, no matter what your business is, that's going to Google. And so this is where I started thinking, okay, this is where I should invest some time. Getting Google reviews, maybe I do paid ads, maybe I do search optimization, maybe I try to get my blogs ranking. But this is like where people who are looking to make buying decisions are. As opposed to, people often come and say, I should do social media. It's like, yeah, you should, but you're not going to see that return. You're not going to see the cash register ring. Generally, most people won't see that. And especially if you're a small business and you're starting out and you got 100 followers, you're already talking to people who kind of know you, maybe a quarter of them are your friends and family and such like that. And so again, this all comes back down to, what is the lever that I'm going to pull that's going to bring in customers and put money in my bank account? And so that's why we start with Google. So review your value proposition, update your website, own the top 3%. If you have a website, you can do all this right now, no matter who built your website. Whether you spent $100,000 on it or you spent $400 on it. If you're in a franchise situation, maybe that's a bit different, but I got lots of ideas on how franchisors can skirt the system a bit. All right. Another couple of things is email is irrefutable. I have worked and built up email lists personally of tens of thousands of people, and email is like hands down one of the best ways to generate revenue for your business. And so let me just say a couple things about email. One is the reason email is so important is because it's a list you own. And so Facebook, and I've been a part of brands that this has happened to, Facebook can take your ad account away for no good reason. My own Instagram account got taken away. I'm pretty sure it got hacked and somebody was spamming on it, but they just said, yeah, your Instagram account's gone, Kevin. And I was like, oh, that's like 10 years of like me just like vanished. I had another account, a business account, an ad account that got shut down and it got hacked and then shut down. And so like these platforms can just take away your power like in a heartbeat, but nobody can take away your email list. So that's item number one. Item number two is when somebody gives you an email, they've said, yeah, I want to hear from you. And that's really important. In most advertising, people haven't decided they want to hear from you. The last thing is when people give you an email, that is the hottest time they are ready to buy. So if I give you something and you give me your email in exchange for that something, you should pounce on that in a heartbeat. Have some kind of like auto email that goes out that says, hey, thanks for signing up. Let's book an appointment to call. Here's a discount code, come to the website. Whatever the thing is, when somebody gives you an email, pounce on them for the sales opportunity. And then this is an average across lots of industries, but $1 spent gets $42 return. I've seen much more abysmal rates of $1 gets $20 return. Like that's totally horrible. So this is really important. And 59% of consumers say marketing emails influence their purchase decisions. So here's the thing about email marketing. Nobody wants to be on another newsletter list. Nobody wants to get more emails. And so, you know, if Sunshine Diner there was like, hey, jump on our email list, I'd be like, no, thank you. But if they're like, here's how to cook our amazing breakfast at home, we'll give you the recipe and all the ingredients. Here's our world famous eggs Benedict. Here's how to make the eggs Benedict sauce from scratch. Just give us your email, we'll send you the recipe. I'd be like, yes, I'm in for that. So like, offer value. My thing has always been give away all the secrets, offer as much as you can that you could charge people for. You leave people with an impression of increase. That's how people should feel after they do your brand or they interact with your brand. All right, last few things. So Google actually only owns 18% of the way people can search for you. So they're the largest search engine for sure. So they own most of the search engine market share, but in terms of how can people search for you, they only own about 18%. And so this goes across all things like Amazon, social, AI tools. And so, you know, there's a lot of like comments around how do we show up in chat AI. And so like the silver bullet for that hasn't been figured out. The recipe for that hasn't been figured out, but there's lots of theories on how you do that. And there's lots of tests that have shown varying results on how you show up in ChatGPT. In reality, ChatGPT is serving like this much support for businesses and this much traffic, and Google is like still like delivering this much. So like the gap between AI and Google in terms of like value can deliver to a business is the gap is still so big. So Google's still killing it. But what I would be looking at if I was a business is like how do I get my information everywhere? So it does show up on search engines and it shows up everywhere. So the answer to that is just, again, make sure your website has lots of content, update social channels, just have your footprint as big as you possibly can online, and so that these folks search Google, they search forum sites, they look at reviews, they just use all these different signals to show up in search. So AI is important and we really should be ahead of it. Also, so easy to get overwhelmed with it. I'm just going to burn through this here. This is a single lawyer here who just makes posts all the time about just how to handle relationships. He's a divorce lawyer, but he just makes posts on how to handle relationships. So I'm not married, but I watch this stuff all the time because it's so valuable. And he's in Toronto, so even if I did get married and then got divorced, I probably wouldn't hire him, but so good. And so just, again, offering nothing but value, and then this is just showing how many people are searching for advice and law practices on TikTok and Instagram. All right, this summary we've been through. Okay, so tying it all together, last thing I'll put here, I'll talk about is just how do you measure marketing. And so this is what I would do, and your system may look a little bit different, but it should kind of follow this. We put a bunch of money in, let's say we do ads as an example. We put $1,000 into ads. How much traffic did that get to our website? So let's say we put $1,000 into ads, we got 100 pieces of traffic to the website, so that means each piece of traffic was worth $10, okay? And then let's say we want to get consultations, or we want to talk to somebody about their finances, or we want to talk to people about book deals. It's like, how many of those did we get out of that? So we got 10, so that means they're $100 each. And then how many clients did we get out of that? We got 3, so each client was worth $333. And so this is really simple, and also what I use everywhere is just really just do the math. It's just at the end of the day, how much money did you put in, and how much revenue did you get out, and how much did it cost? And then you just simply work on tweaking parts of this. So if I got 100 people to the site, but only got 1 consultation, then it's like, okay, let's work on the site, because obviously something is not working there. If we're not getting any traffic to the site, we can work on that. Or if we are getting traffic to the site and consultations, but not turning clients, this could be a sales process thing. Like, it's really easy to start diagnosing where marketing isn't working, marketing and sales. I'll share, I won't go through this in too much. This is just a bit of like more math on the parts of how we hold everybody accountable, including us and our clients. Is like, we just look like at how many leads do we have to get in, On a year, how many leads do we have to close? How much revenue do we estimate we'll get from each client? And then what are, in this case as a lawyer example, how much legal fees do we bill, or how much revenue do we get? And we look at our monthly ad spend, how much we're paying our agency, and just see if there is an ROI off that or not. And so this just kind of takes the guesswork out of marketing, at least when you're paying money for paid ads and you're investing like we do in trade shows and breakfasts and things like that. Most brands that we work with, and this is pretty standard, I find, for companies that are 50 million and under, so 100,000 and under and 50 million and under, they're spending somewhere between 5 and 10% of their gross revenue on marketing. And so if you're doing $100,000 a year, that's $5,000. If you're doing, or $10 million a year, that is more than that, 50 grand. Okay, last thing. So I've run my own businesses for a lot of years, and in every sector, this is without fail. I found this to be true. MIT did a study on contacting leads. The odds of contacting a lead if called in 5 minutes versus 30 minutes drops 100 times. And the odds of qualifying a lead if called in 5 minutes versus 30 minutes drops 21 times. So getting back to your leads within 5 minutes can turn your practice around. And so this seems kind of reasonable, depending on what business you're in. So the feedback I've gotten specifically before I even read this is when people become leads for me as a marketing agency, is like, wow, like you got back to me like so fast. Like the impression was like, oh, you're on the ball. So that's really helpful. But also nowadays people just start going down the list, right? I can't get a hold of you, I'm gonna go through somebody else. I'm going to, I'll quickly forget about you. Who's called a customer back and they've been like, sorry, who is this? Which one of the 50 that I called are you? Yeah. It's like, oh, that's not helpful. So this can change your game. There's a bunch of different ways you can help increase your lead response time. So entrepreneurs, especially if you're running a business, are often busy dealing with customers. So there's a bunch of different ways you can do that. One is an AI answering service. This is often the most cost effective. Two is you can hire a help desk, which is often the most expensive. Help desk or call center, or hire an in person. It's kind of a more reasonable rate because you can get them to do other things. The point is you work so hard to get people interested in your business, and you can lose them so fast if you don't get back to them. All right, and that's it.
Thank you so much. It's 9 o'clock, so the parking meters are kicking in if you have to look after your parking. And let's have